third party can't stop thinking about you. Their obsession has reached new heights, and they're carefully planning their next move. Every step they take is meticulously designed to capture your attention and pull you closer into their world. Their thoughts of you are relentless, consuming them day and night. The third party is scheming, laying out plans that they believe will draw you away from everyone else. They're determined to be the center of your universe, no matter the cost. You've unknowingly ignited an obsession in the third party that is spiraling out of control. They're plotting ways to get closer to you, believing that only they can truly understand and satisfy your deepest desires. The third party's fixation on you has evolved into a dangerous game. They're watching your every move, analyzing your every word, and devising a plan to become an irreplaceable part of your life. Their obsession knows no bounds. Behind the scenes, the third party is orchestrating a complex plan, driven by their overwhelming obsession with you. They're convinced that they can win you over, and they won't stop until they've succeeded in making you theirs. The third party is captivated by you, and their obsession is pushing them to take drastic measures. They're plotting in silence, convinced that if they play their cards right, they can have you all to themselves. Their obsession with you has become all-consuming. The third party is meticulously planning ways to insert themselves into your life, believing that only they can truly make you happy. They're willing to do whatever it takes. The third party's thoughts are consumed by you, and they're devising intricate plans to get closer to you. They believe that you're meant to be together, and they're prepared to take extreme steps to make that belief a reality. You're at the center of the third party's thoughts, and their obsession is leading them down a dangerous path. They're planning ways to lure you in, convinced that only they can fulfill the void in your life. The third party's obsession has reached a fever pitch. They're carefully crafting a plan to make themselves indispensable to you, convinced that once you see them for who they truly are, you won't be able to resist. The third party's thoughts are fixated on you, and their obsession is driving them to plan a future where you're together. They're convinced that fate has brought you into their life, and they'll stop at nothing to make you theirs. You're the object of the third party's obsession, and they're planning ways to get closer to you. Every move they make is calculated, designed to weave themselves into the fabric of your life until you can't imagine being without them. The third party's obsession with you is growing stronger by the day. They're plotting ways to make themselves an essential part of your life, believing that once you realize how perfect they are for you, you'll never let them go. Their obsession with you is consuming every aspect of their life. The third party is scheming, trying to find the perfect way to capture your heart. They're convinced that you belong together, and they're prepared to fight for you. The third party's thoughts are dominated by you, and their obsession is pushing them to the brink. They're planning a bold move, one that they believe will finally bring you into their arms, where they think you truly belong. You've become the center of the third party's universe. Their obsession is leading them to craft an elaborate plan, one that they believe will make you see them in a new light and realize that you're meant to be together. The third party's obsession with you has taken on a life of its own. They're plotting ways to infiltrate your world, convinced that once you truly see them, you'll understand that they're the only one who can make you happy. You've unknowingly triggered an obsession in the third party, and they're planning ways to get closer to you. They're convinced that you're their perfect match, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to prove it to you. The third party's obsession with you is becoming all-encompassing. They're crafting a plan to win you over, convinced that once you give them a chance, you'll see that they're the one you've been searching for all along. The third party's thoughts are dominated by you, and their obsession is driving them to take bold steps. They're planning to make a move, convinced that once you're in their life, you'll realize that they're everything you've ever wanted. You're at the forefront of the third party's mind, and their obsession is leading them to make plans for a future with you. They're convinced that only they can give you the love and happiness you deserve, and they're determined to prove it. The third party is consumed by an overwhelming desire to be near you. Their obsession has taken over their thoughts, leading them to carefully plot ways to insert themselves into your life, no matter what it takes. You're the object of their fascination, and the third party is tirelessly planning how to make their presence in your life impossible to ignore. They believe that only they can bring you the happiness you seek. The third party's obsession is becoming a force they can't control. They're concocting elaborate schemes, convinced that once they execute their plan, you'll be drawn to them in ways you never imagined. Their every waking moment is spent thinking of you. The third party is devising a strategy to make you see them as more than just a fleeting thought, but as someone you can't live without. The third party's obsession is driving them to take risks they never thought possible. They're planning bold moves, believing that only they can fulfill your deepest desires and capture your heart. You've unknowingly become the center of their world. The third party's obsession has grown so intense that they're planning to disrupt everything in your life, hoping to create a space where only they fit. Their obsession with you has crossed the line from infatuation to a full-blown obsession. The third party is meticulously planning their approach, believing that they are the only one who can make you whole. The third party can't get you out of their mind, and their obsession is driving them to craft a plan to win you over. They believe that you belong with them, and they're willing to go to great lengths to make that happen. You're all they think about day and night. The third party's obsession is pushing them to plan a future with you, convinced that only they can give you the love and attention you deserve. The third party's obsession with you has reached a point of no return. They're scheming, convinced that their careful planning will lead you straight into their arms, where they believe you truly belong. Their obsession with you has taken root deep within them. The third party is planning a bold move, convinced that once they reveal their true intentions, you'll see that they're the one you've been waiting for. The third party's obsession is pushing them to the edge. They're planning to make their feelings known in a way that leaves no room for doubt, believing that once you understand their love, you'll be theirs forever. You've unknowingly become the third party's greatest obsession. They're plotting ways to get closer to you, convinced that once they've secured your attention, you'll never want to let them go. The third party's obsession with you is consuming their every thought. They're planning ways to become an integral part of your life, convinced that you're destined to be together. Their thoughts are dominated by you, and their obsession is leading them to make drastic plans. The third party is convinced that once they execute their strategy, you'll see that they're the perfect match for you. You've become the focal point of their world. The third party's obsession is driving them to take bold actions, believing that once you truly see them, you'll realize that they're the one who can make you happy. The third party's obsession with you is pushing them to the brink. They're meticulously planning a way to make you see them in a new light, convinced that you're meant to be in each other's lives. You're the center of their universe, and the third party's obsession is leading them to make plans that will bring you closer. They believe that only they can give you the love and devotion you need. The third party's obsession is driving them to take risks they never thought they'd take. They're planning to make a move, convinced that once you see their true feelings, you'll be unable to resist. Their obsession with you is becoming more intense with each passing day. The third party is planning ways to win your heart, convinced that once you give them a chance, you'll never want to be without them. The third party's thoughts are dominated by you, and their obsession is pushing them to take drastic measures. They're plotting a move that they believe will finally bring you into their life. You've unknowingly triggered a deep obsession in the third party. They're planning ways to get closer to you, convinced that only they can truly understand and fulfill your desires. The third party's obsession with you is leading them to make bold decisions. They're planning to make themselves an indispensable part of your life, believing that once you realize how much they care, you'll never let them go. The third party's thoughts are consumed by you, and their obsession is pushing them to take bold steps. They're planning to reveal their true feelings, convinced that you're meant to be together.